saved, so I'm recording right now. All right, so here's what we're going to focus on. My tips and tricks are going to be focusing on the design, the grading features, peer assignments, and course analytics. So if we do run out of time, that's why I want to make sure that everyone has that PDF so they're able to kind of view that later. I may skip over some items just because, again, pressed for time, but there's some really great YouTube links that I've created that can walk you through some of these awesome available features. Okay, so this section is going to be about the design of Canvas. So when we think about design, we think about how we're ordering and rearranging and transitioning students in our Canvas course. And one of the great things that I've come across is that posting a preview video, sorry, a little tongue-tied. And when you post a preview video, this is something that you would post at the beginning of a new module or, you know, at the beginning of week 1. And essentially what you're doing is you're creating this informal video that's kind of like a preview of what students should expect or what they should be looking for towards this new module. And I created a YouTube video right here that walks you through step by step on utilizing a built-in recording that Canvas provides for the instructors. So I'm not going to play the YouTube video just again because, you know, we're pressed for time, but I did want to discuss that this is a great idea to add in the design of your course. And that way it really does improve upon that teacher presence. Also posting a summary video. And this again would be following those same steps that I posted for the preview video, except this is going to be placed at the end of a module. And it could be a nice way to kind of recap how things have gone for that module 1 or that, you know, week 1, however you design your course. And what the summary video, again, it's a very informal video and it's kind of like wrapping it up and saying, hey guys, this was a really great week. I saw some really good student work out there, or hey guys, you know, this week we had a lot of people not turn in, you know, their essays. You know, you really got to make sure that you reach out to me if you need help doing your essays. So it's kind of like a little summary video, highlighting, spotlighting some really great things that students have done, pushing out any important information that you want your students to be reminded of. And again, it's very informal and it's just a great way to add some more of your interaction and presence in your Canvas course. Now, again, I'm not going to play the YouTube video because just because of time, but I encourage you when you download that PDF to go back and it walks you through step by step on how to post and create that summary video. Now, another thing is about module settings. So this was something that I stumbled upon. Some of you might have already knew about this, but there's a way for you to edit your modules. Canvas allows you to lock your modules until a given date. So if it's the first module at the beginning of your Canvas course and you want to unlock it on a certain date, that's availability for you. Another one is you can add prerequisites. So this only works if there's you have module 1 and then module 2 can have prerequisites, because what you can do is you can have module 2 locked until they've completed module 1. So it kind of forces them to go in order. And you can also add requirements, and one of them, which is really great, is making them do things in sequential order. So that's how you can guarantee these kids aren't just skipping through. You know, they didn't read the instructions, they didn't view the resource, or they didn't see the syllabus, and then they're emailing you with all these questions and you're just like, it was posted right above the assignment, you know? So that's a nice way to kind of prevent that. And for this one, I will play. And what I did was I recorded this process of me going into my fake Canvas shell and kind of walking you through those steps. So I'm gonna push play on this. Can everybody see my YouTube video starting to load up? Are we good?
Yes, we're good.
Awesome, great. Okay, I'm gonna push play on this.
There's no sound?
I do apologize about that. Let me fix that real quick. All right.
Here are the steps you would need to follow if you would like to edit your modules. In this Canvas course, I would like to edit my modules. So I would click on Modules. If you see these three dots in the corner of any module, you can click on it and it says Edit. You are given some options to choose from. The first one is you can say Lock Until. So what this means is that you can choose when to unlock the module for students. So students can't view anything, they can't click on anything until you select a date and time in which that module can be made available. Another option is requirements. One of the great things that you also have the ability to do is require students to move through the items in the module in sequential order. So they can't move on to item B until they've done item A. So I'm going to click on this, and right here, I can add the requirements that I am requesting. So after they're done with the overview, I want them to do the module, and then last but not least, the module summary. Now for the discussion, I don't want them just to view the discussion, I want them to contribute to the page or submit the assignment. So once you've set up these types of selections, you would then click Update Module. So now all my modules are locked. Now if I go to the student view, when I click on modules, I can see that the only thing I can click on is the first item. This is a great option for you to make sure that students are following through and not skipping over any of the items in the module.
Okay, sorry about that, that the sound was already included there. Just so you know, if you just select have students require to do things in sequential order, you can just have it like that. You don't actually have to go in and nitpick every single item within your module. I just demonstrated that to let you know that you can get really picky with how you have things set up. Modules are set to where you can have students just view something and then it unlocks the next step, or if it's something that's requiring like the students to submit or turn in, you can then require those steps to be added. So again, you can, if you just, and this is really great if you want to include BioSig. So because you can't really attach BioSig to a quiz, like make it a part of the quiz, when you put BioSig assignment or you add BioSig right before your quiz or your exam, if you edit your modules, you're then locking the modules. So now student can't unlock your quiz or test until they've signed in BioSig. So that's a great way that you can kind of force their hand into doing the BioSig login without, and then therefore having it released for the quiz. But please keep in mind that BioSig is not test security. It's just a form to authenticate it. I have a question is, how would we require, okay, a biosite? I think I answered that one, hopefully. Let's see. Is there another way to publish or unpublish? Well, whenever you create anything on Canvas, there's those little green check marks and you just click on it and it unpublishes and you just check to publish it. So I think, and hopefully that answered your question on Ms. May on how to publish or unpublish.
No, what I was saying is this lock modules the same as publish or unpublish, or is it?
Oh, no, no, no. So when you unpublish, the student can't see it. And if you remembered in that YouTube video, I was giving you the student view. And on the student view, they could see everything in my module 1, but the only thing that was available for them to click on was the overview page because I had set my modules to unlock in sequential order. So if that kid or student went in to click on the overview page, then that bottom option would now be clickable and viewable for the student. Whereas if you just unpublish, the student doesn't see anything. It's like it doesn't exist. So yeah, editing the modules is completely different than publish or unpublish. Good question. All right, so I'm going to move on to another awesome availability for you, which is importing canvases. Importing is just pretty much, this is an option that's available for you that once you've created a Canvas course and you're going to be teaching that same section again, what this does is just allows you to pull all that information into your new Canvas. And I'm not going to play the video for this, but I thought it was some good information for folks to have. So if you're asking, you know, Mallory, can you create a Canvas shell for me? And, you know, I can create a Canvas shell for you. And then if you follow these steps, you can pull anything into that Canvas shell from other Canvas courses. Or say if I gave you a Canvas shell and you've already started making modules and items for your fall class because you're getting ready to do so, all you have to do now when that fall class is given to you, all you have to do now is just import from that Canvas shell straight into your Canvas course. So this is just a great option for you guys. So that way you don't feel like, you know, why am I doing double work? I can't just keep copying and pasting. There's got to be an easier way. So I included this extra step here for those that, you know, might find this a lot easier. So I'm not going to be playing these again because just for time's sake, but I do want to get into some grading techniques that are available to you in Canvas. And one of them, and this was actually discovered when I had an instructor ask me, is there a way to put like notations or add notes about students to kind of remind you? Is there a way to do that in Canvas where the students can't see it, but it's just there for the instructor? And I kind of did some exploring, and I did find out that you're able to kind of, next to each student's name, you're able to kind of write a little something about them. So maybe, you know, remind them like, hey, that this student gets extra accommodations, or, you know, this student working mom, you know, night shift, or, you know, just some information that students have shared with you that you want to keep in mind. And if you know, sometimes you forget which student was it that, you know, asked for an extension. So this kind of helps with that. So this one I'm going to play through, and I just think it's a really great option that's available.
In this recording, I'm going to show a really neat option that you're able to do in Gradebook. So in this fake Canvas shell, I have some pretend students right here. And what I wanted to show you is that you're able to make notations about your students that you might need for a reminder. It could be anything from giving them an extension or just being aware of certain circumstances that they might need or that they are going through. And to do that, you simply go right here where it says View, you click the arrow, and then it gives you an option right here. It says Notes. If you click on that, a new column appears right next to all your students called Notes. Now, if you need to remind yourself that Cassie requires some type of accommodation or modification, you can do that. Or for example, for a test student, you need to make a note because you granted them an extension for a writing assignment. And all you would do is type in right here, click Save. And if you would like to remove any of these notes, all you would do is click back on the note and you would hit Delete and click Save, and then it'll be blank again. So this is just a nice little tip that might make things easier for you whenever you use your gradebook.
Okay, so I was viewing the chat box here, and it was a question says, after you import a course, can you later add information from another course? Is it limited to just the one course you imported? No, you are able to add and pull from any multiple times from different courses. Now, in my slideshow, I showed two things. One was importing an entire Canvas course, and the second one was just importing certain items. So for example, if you only wanted to pull some great videos that you had used in a different Canvas course, these steps would show you how to select certain items where you don't want a whole entire thing, but just little bits of things. So hopefully that answered a great question. That answered your question. Can students see the notes? No, they cannot. They're only able to see their name and their grades. So these notes are just kind of for the instructor's eyes only, and of course any other person who might be in the role of a teacher in your Canvas course. Another great little thing that you can do is gradebook use messages through gradebook. So there's different ways that you can filter out who you want to message, and it's pretty much all it does is that you're looking at your gradebook and you just want to reach out to students who are not submitting their work. And what this does, like, instead of going to inbox and going back to the gradebook, who was it that was missing that assignment? Let me select. That takes up a lot of time. Canvas automatically pulls students who are missing things in gradebook. They pull students who, based off the filtering system, and that filtering system is haven't submitted yet, haven't been graded, scored less than, and you would type in anyone who scored less than a 70, or anyone who scored more than, a 90. So what this does is it's a nice little filtering system that pulls students' names that meet that criteria and pop up a message board for you to message them directly. And I'm going to play for you. I'm going to play for you this little YouTube link that is going to walk you through that.
So here are the steps that you would follow if you wanted to message students within your gradebook. So I'm going to click over to grades, and next to each assignment, it gives you the option to message students who. Now, of course, this is a fake Canvas, so you will have more students to choose from. I'm going to click on this, and then I'm given an option on how I want to filter out certain students. Am I trying to message students who scored less than a 70? Letting them know that, hey, contact me for an alternative assignment. Do I want to message students that haven't turned in their work yet because it's past the due date? Once you make your selection, it pulls up the students that fall underneath that category. And again, you can also choose to delete a certain student because you're like, oh yes, I already spoke to Natalie. She said that she was going to turn it in tomorrow, so I don't need to message her again. And once you do this, the message will be sent and the student knows that this message is dealing with this particular assignment.
Okay, so that was just a nice little tip that I thought that can really be helpful. I know how tedious it can be trying to go in and message each individual student, whereas Canvas kind of really streamlines that process. And then on this one right here, I focused on SpeedGrader, and this video just pretty much focuses on the different availabilities and options that can be used and utilized for SpeedGrader. And this one just pretty much walks you through the basics. But this video right here, I want to play this one instead because this is utilizing SpeedGrader for just papers. And I just think that's, really, really awesome feature that I wanted to highlight. Push play on this. All right.
So this short video is going to cover how you can use SpeedGrader to grade any paper assignments. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on grades. And right here for my test student, they have submitted their paper assignment. I will simply click right here on these three dots and I will select SpeedGrader. This will now bring up the student's paper, and it will also bring up the rubric that I attached to this paper. One of the awesome things about using SpeedGrader, it gives you a lot of tools to annotate and leave comments for your student. So if I wanted to say, this introduction is not connected to the assignment, I can leave that comment there. Or if I wanted to do something where it also gives me a list of colors to pick from. So if I wanted to select blue and I want to put this square here and tell my student that this is plagiarized, I can do so. Another great annotation feature is the pinpoint. You can use this at any part of the text, and you can really zoom in on what word or phrase you have a comment for on your students. It also allows you to draw right on the student's paper if you want to highlight something. It also allows you to type anything within the text as well. You even have some drawing tools that you can use to help you with your annotation process. So if you want to circle something here, it allows you to leave a comment about any of the items that you circle or underline within the text. On top of all of these great ways to annotate a paper, SpeedGrader also allows you to grade your papers using rubrics that you've posted within Canvas. And again, you can decide which point value this paper falls under, and next to each one of these, you can leave a comment for your student. And again, you would make your selection, and you are also able to type an overall comment or even record a short video if you might find that easier than typing everything out. And then once you are done, you would click save and you will write their final grade, which ends up being a 67. And then you would click submit. So this is the student view of what that graded paper would look like. So I go to my grades. I see that I scored a 67 on my paper assignment. This little icon right here allows me to see the points that I got in the rubric and any comments that were assigned to that. I'm also able to click on my paper assignment. I can also view feedback, and I can see some of the comments that my teacher left me, and now I know what I need to work on. And again, if this is too small for me to see, I'm also given the option to download my paper with all of the annotations that my instructor left behind. And now I have a really good idea of where it is I messed up on.
Okay, so that was a nice little feature that I wanted to display, not only just the teacher side of it, but also what does the student see when you do all these annotations? And if you do attach a rubric to an assignment, is that student able to see how that rubric was graded? And all those student views kind of give you a great idea of what the student gets to see. All right, so rubrics. Now for rubrics, I created a video that breaks down how to create a rubric and also how to attach it to an assignment. Now I don't want to play this out because again, for time's sake, because there's a lot of really cool, nifty little things that I want to get to, but please, if you have not done so, download that PDF in the chat box. If you did not receive it, I will send it one more time just in case. And if you get that PDF, please download it so that way you're able to view some of these great YouTube processes that I've created for you, how-to YouTubes. So I wanted to just go to the student view, which sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied here today. Blech. So this slide is pretty much dedicating to how to create a rubric and how to attach that rubric to any assignments in Canvas. This YouTube is focusing on what the student sees whenever you use a rubric. So when that student opens up your assignment, they see that rubric attached to the assignment. And it's not a surprise. So that way they know, oh, this is how I'm going to be graded. Is my assignment reflecting the rubric that's going to be attached in Canvas? So I wanted to give you guys a YouTube clip that showed the student view of your rubrics that you create in Canvas. So again, just for time's sake, I'm not going to play these two videos because it is a process of, it can be kind of long. But please do view that if you're ever interested in including rubrics. And one of the benefits is that it really does streamline that process of grading in SpeedGrader. You're just clicking on the boxes and the points are falling in for you. So it's a really great tool to have. Now, moving on to assignments. These are some tips and tricks that can be helpful when it comes to assignments. Now, this one is about the peer review assignments. Now, this one for me was a little bit of a challenge because I don't have real students, and so I was my own guinea pig and really trying to see that. So this first YouTube video that I will be playing for you is the process of assigning peer reviews to students and the process of students completing a peer review. So in case you're ever wondering, like, well, what does a student see? If I create an assignment and I'm also assigning a peer review, what does that look like for the student? So this video kind of explores that viewpoint that we, that we don't really get to see as instructors.
After you've created your peer review assignment, all the student would have to do would be to turn in the rough draft. For this example, I'm going to show you the process you would need to take to start the peer review side of this assignment. So right here, when you click on that assignment, the peer review, it has a button off to the side called Peer Reviews. I'm going to click on this, and here it says None Assigned, None Assigned. And the reason for that is because not all students have submitted their assignment yet.
I'm sorry, I'm going to pause this. I think I played this one out of order real quick, and I don't want to have this be a little confusing. Okay, so I did not include the process. I should have included the video. I do apologize. I created a video that talked about the process of creating a peer review and assigning peer reviews. And it seems that this side of the video that I'm playing for you is what it looks like when students are
After you've created your peer review assignment, all the student would have to do would be to turn in the rough draft. For this example, I'm going to show you the process you would need to take to start the peer review side of this assignment. So right here, when you click on that assignment, the peer review, it has a button off to the side called Peer Reviews. I'm going to click on this, and here it says None Assigned, None Assigned. And the reason for that is because not all students have submitted their assignment yet. Now, I personally would not recommend to do this step until after the due date has passed. For this example, let's pretend the due date for the rough draft submission has already passed. So now we're going to assign peer reviews. So we had the automatically assign one peer review, and I'm going to click this button right here. It says Assign Peer Reviews. So what it's going to do is it's going to assign peer reviews to the students who submitted their rough draft. And of course, you can also go in and make selections for students as well. So because only 2 students submitted their essays and a lot of students have not done it yet, I do not want those students to also earn a 0 on a peer review assignment. I'm going to choose to give them an essay to review. I'm just going to keep selecting the same students' essays to be reviewed, so that way they have a chance to earn a peer review grade. Once I've made my selections, I'm going to select Add. So this is going to be the student view of what a peer review would look like. So I'm going to click Assignments. I will see the peer review section right here. It says that I am assigned to this student to do a peer review. Click on this item here, or I can click View Feedback. And also, if I click Show Rubric, it gives me a chance to grade the student's essay, and then I would click Save Comments. As a student, I could go in and read the essay, add my comments for the other student to review. And then here, I will leave an overall comment for the other student. I will click Save. And after I've clicked saved, I would exit out.
Okay, so this video just focused on the student side of creating a peer review. But just real quick, what I want to do is I want to show you how do you make an assignment in Canvas become a peer review. And unfortunately, I did not include that recording, but just real quick, I can show you. Anytime you create an assignment, add new assignment, you add the usual information, then it allows you to turn it into a peer review. And you just simply click this button. And then you can select automatically assign a peer review. And then you can say, I only want students to review one other student's paper or one other student assignment. And then you would do the due date of when that peer review will be sent to that student. So keep in mind that the due date for the peer review is going to be completely different for the due date of the original assignment. So if your original assignment was please turn in your rough draft is going to be August the 5th. Then you're going to want to make the peer review for that August 5th due date be August 10th. So that way that student knows that, hey, my rough draft was due August 5th. And then on August the 10th, I'm going to be given a student paper to review. And that's going to be graded. Please keep in mind that you are not able to assign any peer reviews unless you click this box. So that was just that one step that video had left out. Another item I wanted to play for you, go through this really quickly, was the grading process. So as an instructor, when I grade a peer review, what does that look like? And please keep in mind that if you make something a peer review, it's not going to be two separate grades. It's not going to be a grade for the student turning in the rough draft and then a grade for the student doing the peer review. If an assignment becomes a peer review, it's only going to be one grade in gradebook, and it's going to be a peer review grade. And I'm going to show you what that looks like.
So I'm going to show you the steps you would need to take to grade a peer review assignment. For this example, I created a rough draft peer review assignment, and I also attached a rubric for the students to follow when they do their peer review. I'm going to go to my grades. I'm going to select Speed Grader, and here I will get the rough draft that my student Julie submitted. And then here to the side, I can see the rubric is already filled out. This right here represents the peer review that was given to this essay. For our example, we have Amanda's peer review and comments down below, and they are now attached to Julie's essay. If I'm looking at this essay and I'm looking at the score of the rubric and Amanda's comments, if I choose that I don't agree with how the student graded this assignment, I can choose to override the grade by typing in the score I would like to give. Or if I push this button, View Rubric, the scoring system that Amanda had selected now disappears. And here I can go in and give the score that I believe the essay truly deserves. And then when I click Save, I would state that this person got an 80. And now you can see that the rubric is reflecting my selection. And I would click Submit. So this is the student view of what a graded peer review would look like. So if I was a student, I could see that my rough draft submissions and peer review have been graded. And here again, I can view the feedback of any comments that were left, whether it was by the student who was assigned to my peer review or any comments that the teacher may have given. Also, I can view the rubric to see my selections. You need to keep in mind that when you create a peer review, it will only generate one overall grade. It will not be a grade for the submission of the rough draft followed by a separate grade that is a peer review. Canvas is going to allow only one graded outcome for this assignment.
Okay, so I just wanted to really give the student side of it, because for me it was really difficult trying to help instructors about peer reviews and without knowing the outcome on the student side. And so these two videos just kind of give you a really good sneak peek on what's to be expected whenever you do a peer review. For this one, assignments inline view, this is just more of like what this does, all it does is just any Word docs that you might attach or any kind of article that you may attach, all this does, it walks you through a step to have the document inside Canvas instead of having it being downloaded or viewed on in a different screen. I'm not going to play that again, just simply for time, but I thought it was just something like, you know, something little that you can adjust if you want to make it easier to have students to be able to read items within Canvas instead of having to download them. So I'm going to skip over that for now, but again, please feel free to read that, view that on your own time. I want to discuss the learner analytics, how to view and interpret Canvas course analytics. And some of this items are really great. Please keep in mind that the Canvas course that I'm going to be viewing the analytics is a fake one. It's a you know, a made up Canvas shell. So I'm not going to have a lot of, you know, data to look at. But what this does, it kind of breaks down what this data means and how it can be interpreted. And I thought this was a really great item to touch upon.
In this video, I'm going to cover viewing course analytics. So in any of your Canvas courses, you can click this button right here, and it can be found under Student View. And when you click on this button, you are going to see certain charts and graphs load up on your screen. The type of information that's going to be presented is going to be in 3 different sections. The course analytics is going to give you information on the activity that is going on in your Canvas course. It's going to cover the type of submissions for any and all assignments that you've created in your Canvas course, and it's going to cover the type of grades that your students receive for each one of your assigned items in Canvas. Please keep in mind that my Canvas course isn't real. I didn't really have students to participate, so I have a lot of blank information here. But when you view your course analytics, you're going to see lots of graphs appear, and you can definitely get a nice overview of, and it gives you a great overview of what your students are doing really well in your Canvas course and what students seem to be continuously struggling with. And that can give you a really good idea to kind of review and reflect over how your Canvas course is being set up and how students are interacting with it. And then of course down below you would see all your students, and in this case my fake students that are assigned to your course, and I can break down how many page views each one of these students has participated in, and exactly how many submissions and how many times they were on time, late, or missing. And of course, there'd be a final average here tied to the students of your Canvas course. Now up here in the corner, you would see this button here that kind of slides over. And all this does, it gives you the exact same information, giving you more of an Excel spreadsheet type of view. So this right here covers course analytics that can be viewed in every Canvas course.
And I think one of the great things that you can also use Canvas course analytics for can be if a student says, you know, if a student's not passing your class, because I've had an instructor come up to me and say that, you know, a student's having technical issues, that whenever they submit their assignment, it's not going through. And I say, okay, well, why don't we pull up the course analytics? And when we scroll down to that diagram of the students and it had page reviews, when we clicked on it, it stated the last time the student ever logged on into Canvas, last time they viewed anything in the Canvas. And it's shown a good 2.5 weeks of time had passed between the student ever actually clicking on anything in Canvas. And I said, okay, so what you want to do is I said, let's take a screenshot of this. Let's send this back to the student and say, well, according to this, the reason why your assignments are not going through is because you haven't clicked and logged in to Canvas. So that's probably why that's probably the reason why you're having technical issues, because you're not logging into Canvas and nothing's going through. Another great thing that you can do is when it talks about, it has a list of your students and it says how many times each student did a page review. It lets you see that, okay, the students who are really successful in my class, what seems to be the trend here? And you can say, oh, wow, everyone who has been very successful in my class has 100 and something page reviews. So it clearly shows that students who are viewing the work on a daily basis consistently seem to be doing very well in my class. And then if you're ever wondering why, for example, in this little diagram here on submissions, if you're wondering why all these students seem to just be bombing certain type of items in your class. So for example, if you have everyone's doing great, hundreds, and then everyone failed, the essay. And every time you do an essay, more than 50% of your class does poorly on the essay. This is kind of how the analytics are given to you. So that way you can kind of see what does really well in your class and what is not working well. And if something's not working well, is it because, maybe a simple suggestion to the students about, visiting the writing center. And by making that suggestion, now you see an improvement, because before it was completely red. And now after making those suggestions to visit the writing center, we can start seeing improvements. So these are just some great ways that you can utilize the analytics. So for the student analytics, I believe or maybe it's only because I get an administrative view, but I know that there's a way for you to just view the student individually. So let's see, before I get to the recap, because I just saw the question right now where it says it doesn't give you a chance to view the last day or time of each access. So maybe I get to see it because I have an admin view, but let's go in and I'm gonna look at one of my fake students, so it's okay. Let's see. So I know if I click on a student, I can view their analytics here. Let's see.
So I'm going to chime in. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, hi, sorry. So my issue, I think on the analytics report, if you click on that student's name, the hyperlink name in the upper left-hand side, and then you see where it says access report.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So my issue with that has always been, and this is a Canvas issue, but if you have a workaround, I'd love to hear it, that it shows you when you click on that access report, which pages the student has accessed at which time, or the number of participations they've had, whether they've contributed, but it only shows you the last time and date of that click and it repopulates. So if, like, say they read the discussion post on a certain day, and then they came back 2 weeks later and entered, it doesn't show you the first date of access anymore. So if you know a workaround for that, it would be greatly helpful.
So I know when we clicked on my fake student here, which is actually my colleague for the TLC department, it has, let me, just to refresh the page. So when I clicked on here, it has more down below. And when I click more, it kind of gives me the current login and at what time. So is that some information that you were wanting
I
to
think
view?
I'm referring more to specific assignment pages, right? That they are required to access and review things in a timely manner. And it's really hard to tell beyond just general access.
Oh,
On the
got it.
access report, the actual access report, it gives you a list of sites or pages, clicks, whatever the student has seen or clicked into. It'll show you, okay, they saw this discussion post, they viewed it 5 times and they participated once. So under, yeah, access report. But they can view it 1 time and not participate, right? And then if they come back and click it later, that first access is actually replaced by the most current access.
Oh, I see. So it
So
doesn't
as a
really
teacher,
give
it's
you.
just nice to know, like they say, oh, well, it didn't work, or, you know, I had trouble. It's like, well, did you access it, you know, when you needed to? So I just didn't know if you had any other information. And
I
that just might
think
be a Canvas thing.
yeah, it might just be a Canvas thing. I'm trying to, I guess, because for me, it's really hard because I don't have a lot of data to go on. But I did know that when I was helping that one instructor and we kind of, you know, screenshot, you know, the participation side of it, or we screenshot that, you know, that there was nothing that stated that assignment wasn't even viewed. So when we did that, that was that all of a sudden, you know, the students submitted something.
Right,
So
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so we're getting close to the wrap up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We have a few minutes left. So if you have any questions for me that you want to ask, feel free to unmic yourselves. I'm going to submit this PDF just one more time, just in case. Feel free to double click on that and download it. And again, as much as I work with Canvas, I am limited because I've never really taught or had students. So there might be some issues or there might be some tips that you can get from colleagues that are really great. And as much as I try to implement and try to, you know, recreate that environment of what it would be like to have students, there are just some things that, you know, some great ideas or, you know, might be some issues that you can be coming across that I might not be aware of. So feel free to always reach out if you have any questions. And, you know, there's always a lot of great resources, which are your, you know, your colleagues that are really just all-stars with this Canvas course. And feel free to reach out to them, you know, hey, can I be an observer in your course? I really want to see how things are doing, you know, so just keep that in mind that, you know, we're all here to really support each other. We want to be here to help each other out. So if anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to unmic themselves.
Hi, Mallory. This is Katie from